I know you missed it. I missed it too. Challenge questions. Hopefully you've already completed your challenge questions. If you did not yet complete your challenge question, then I ask that you pause the video and you try each of these so you don't lose the skills that you work so hard to learn and understand. When you're done, unpause it and watch the video to understand how to get the correct answers. And then, most importantly, be proud of yourself when you get the answer correct. So here we go. A, 3 1/3. And we are going to add 3/4 to it. Now remember, when you add 3/4 to 1/3, you're adding fractions. When you add fractions, you make sure that you write them up and down from one another. You have names that are different. You got to give them the same name. So 4 can count to 4, 8, 12, 16, 3 can count to 3, 6, 9, 12. The first name they could both turn into 12s. Now you got to figure out your exchange rate. How many 3s make 12? 4. So 1 times 4 is 4. So therefore, 1/3 is equal to 4 12s. 4, the exchange rate is times 3, because that's how a 4 turns into a 12. So times 3, this turns into a 9. 9 12ths is equal to 3/4. We'll take 9 12ths. Now they're the same names, so you could just add them together. It's 13 12ths. But 13 12ths is bigger than a whole. How much larger than a whole? It's 1/12 larger than a whole. How do I know? Because 12 12ths makes a whole, and then the 12 12ths can go with the other whole. And then there's 1/12 left over. 3 plus 1 is 4. That answer is 4 1/12. Hey, Mr. Stahl, why is this teeny tiny? Good question. Oops. Let's go to B. If you think about it, B is very, very similar to A, except for instead of adding, we're subtracting. In subtraction, the order matters. The first number you put on top because it's what you have. The second number you put on the bottom because it's what you're taking away. And then that will help us with our answer. Just like last time, we have to change them into the same name. Right now, there's 3/4, there's 1/3. The first thing that 3 and 4 have in common is 12. It's called the least common multiple. Remember, you can just write down a list of multiples of 3, multiples of 4. The first thing they both have in common is what you're going to use. How many 3s make 12? 4. Do it to the bottom, do it to the top. 1/3 is equal to 4 12ths again. And then 4 times 3 is 12. Do it to the bottom, do it to the top. 3/4 is equal to 9 12ths. Now we have our new equal fractions, but we are subtracting. Okay, so I have the top number, I lose the bottom number. Can I take 9 from 4? No. So therefore, I'm going to borrow the whole. Thank you, whole. What does that whole turn into? 12 12ths. So I'm borrowing 12 12ths to help with 4. So now I have 16, right? 16 minus 9 is 7. What are they? They're 12ths. And now 2 minus nothing, because this was only a fraction, is 2. So that answer is 2 7 12ths. Let's go to C. Do you remember how to compare fractions? We have 7/8, and we're comparing 7/8 to 15/16. How do we compare? Well, they have different names, so there's many ways you can compare. One way is turn them both into the same name and then compare that, but the easiest way to do it is multiply the denominator by the other numerator. That equals something, and then the denominator by the other numerator, that equals something, and whichever number is bigger is the number you eat. So 15 times 8 I could do in my head. 15, 30. If that's 30, then this is 60. And if that's 60, this is 120. So 8 times 15 is 120. You use whatever method you like. Go ahead and use lattice method. Use traditional method. 16 times 7 I cannot do as easily in my head. So I'm going to multiply traditional method. 7 times 6 is 42. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 112. What? What am I doing? This one's larger, so 15/16 is larger. And it makes sense because if I were to turn 7/8 into 16ths, it would be 14/16. What's bigger, 14/16 or 15/16? 15/16 for sure. And then the old challenge question. Now, we're going to do a lot of questions like this today. What I am asking is that the hardest part about this is comprehension. You need to understand the problem. My best tool to use to understand and comprehend question is drawing some kind of a picture, okay? So, and the other thing that I always do is I underline the words, which I know you cannot do at home on a computer, but Deborah drove 105 9/10 miles, but she did that after stopping at the rest. How many miles did she drive before the stop if altogether she drove 231.7? So all we know is, here's Deb. I'm going to draw a great picture of Deb. Hi, Deb. Deb drove in her car. It's a beautiful car. She drove, and then she rested. And then after she rested, she drove even more. And now she's here. Yay, I'm so happy that I'm here. All we know is after her stop, she went 105.9 miles. And then altogether, she went 231.7 miles. So does that help you understand what this is? Some of you guys are like, heck no, man, I'm more confused now than ever. Well, if you're still confused, another tool I could throw at it is turning them into easy numbers, right? So the easy numbers would be, if all day long I went 20, and then after my stop, I went 10, what would before the stop be? 10. Okay, cool. We know the made up one. Well, yeah, but you can use that to help you with the hard one. So how do you go from 20 to 10 to 10? You subtract. So you do the same thing here. 231.7 minus 105.9. How do you subtract? Well, 231.7, 105.9. When you subtract decimals, you have to make sure that the decimals are lined up, okay? I have 7, I lose 9, that's illegal. I have 1, I lose 5, that's illegal. I got to go all the way to this 3 right here and say, hey, dude, I need to borrow you. So one of those 10s, because it's in the tens place, is worth 10 ones. Now I have 11. I need to borrow one of those. Now I have 17. 17 minus 9 is 8. 10 minus 5 is 5. 2 minus nothing is 2. And 2 minus 1 is. So your answer is 125.8 miles. And that is the challenge question. Today, let me minimize this. Today, what we are doing is we are going to kind of look at Unit 6, which deals with comprehending word problems. It's kind of the very, very, very small step before algebra. I was not planning on rocking this unit. I was planning on jumping right to algebra, but because we have a week, I'm just going to go through some of these lessons. I'm not going to give you guys a test on this unit, and then we're going to jump into algebra on Monday. So when you have a missing piece that is at the end of your problem, such as 5 plus 3 equals something, find something, that is called a solution problem. And the best way to remember it is solution is answer. It's a synonym for answer. So it's an answer problem. You're trying to find the answer. If we're ever told to make a situation problem, that means in this situation, it is missing, such as 5 plus something equals 8. So that's just a little math vocabulary that frustrates and confuses some people. Solution problem, your two variables find the missing piece, and then the situation problem is there's a variable in the problem missing, but you do have your answer. Kind of like those challenges that we have on Bellwork. Okay. Now, the only fancy part that is so confusing at first, instead of seeing a question mark, you see some sort of a letter. Okay. A lot of the times we use the letter X. Don't let that scare you or intimidate you. It doesn't mean anything different than a question mark. It means we don't know what it is, and there's either a way to find it or there's not a way to find it. Here, because you have 5 plus 3, we can find it. Here, because we have what it's equal to, and we only have one missing thing, we can find it. But there are some math problems that you say, yeah, we don't know the variable, and we'll never know because there's no way to find it. All right, let's jump into the problem. The first question on page 243 says, last night, 312 people attended an early showing of a movie theater. How many people attended the late showing if the total attendance of both showings was 961 people? So once again, it's not just math, now it's also reading comprehension. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is really take your time to comprehend and understand the questions. Okay, so last night 312 people went to the showing in the movie theater. That's good. How many people attended the late showing if both of them together equals 961? So here is what we have to answer. We have to answer A through D. The number of people who attended the first showing is known. Write that number. Okay, 312. It is known. We read it. It said the first showing is 312. Now it says write a situation equation to represent the problem. Okay, nasty math vocabulary words. Situation equation. Do you remember which one the situation equation was? Let's just look real quick. Oh yeah, situation means inside the problem is not known, but we have an answer. So we need to do that. And then they say, use the letter N to represent what we do not know. Okay, so we can do this. So we're going to say 312. That's the first showing. Plus the second showing, which we don't know, equals, together, they equal 961. But they said the unknown should have the letter N instead of an empty box. So put the letter N there instead. So 312 plus N equals 961. Perfect. Now it says, okay, can you make a solution equation? So the question is, how do you find N? Once again, if you get confused, turn it into an easy problem. Instead of it being this nasty problem, let's just make it an easy problem. Let's pretend this is just 9. This is 3. And this is that question mark. 3 plus what equals 9? 6. So how do you go from 9 to 3 to 6? Subtraction. And be careful because order matters with subtraction. So the way that we're going to find the solution is we're going to put 961 minus 312 equals N. Now that says solve. Solve the equation. Okay, we did all the hard work. And you know I'm not going to do this I'm not going to do this with my pen because, or with my mouse, I mean. Oops. All right. There we go. 961, 312. I have 1, I lose 2, that's illegal. I have 6, Okay. I'm going to borrow you. Now, instead of having 1, I have 11 because I borrowed 10, 110. 11 minus 2 is 9. 5 minus 1 is 4. And 9 minus 3 is 6. Answer is 649. During our live session, we'll continue to work on some of these problems, but this kind of gets me excited because we've worked so hard September, October, November, December, January, February, now March. And we've learned so much that what we're doing in this unit and what we're doing next unit, we get to use all those math tools that we built in our tool belt to solve these problems. There's only one key ingredient missing: effort. You absolutely have to bring effort in order to succeed in these math problems because they're challenges, there's puzzles, they're questions, but you have all the tools to find these answers, to solve these puzzles. You just need to bring your A game. And if you do, and you see that this is starting to make sense, you are going to be one of the hundreds of students I get that tell me, oh my gosh, Mr. Stahl, I get it. This is exciting. I actually like math. And if you think I'm lying, I promise you, if you've done everything you're supposed to and you really put time and effort into this, you're going to find satisfaction and excitement and happiness from finding these answers. So bring your A game the next month or two. This is an exciting time in math. All right, I'll see you during the live session. Bye.